Hi guys, Old Man Paints here, aka Phil, and today I thought I would do the very first painting tutorial that I've ever done. I am completely new to this, so it might be a bit rough around the edges. I hope you'll bear with me. So the figure that I'm going to be painting today is just a Kev Adams sculpted Oldhammer Orc. Bring him closer to the camera so you can see him. And I'm going to be putting him on my customised painting handle. This is made with just two little bits of wood screwed together with a indentation cut out of the top, which fits a round based figure perfectly. Will also fit a square based figure or me. Okay, so this Kev Adams sculpt is primed. I just used a standard car primer to prime it last night. I've cleaned all the flash off it already using a standard modelling knife. Before we go on, I want to say I'm not an expert painter, just an amateur enthusiast. So save the shade in the comments because this is just a bit of fun and I'm trying to pass on what I know to you. The colours I'll be using today are pretty straightforward. I'm going to try a slightly different method to my normal method, so hopefully it's going to work. First base colour green for the Orcs is this Vallejo colour, 072. The highlight colour is Cote 208, grass green. The highlight is Army Painter Daemonic yellow. And we can start base coating. Now you can just do this pretty roughly, not in any mad hurry. I am quite a slow painter, so obviously this will all come to you via the magic of speed scrubbing. There, I've done the emerald green base coat. There's the Orc on the block and his base coat is done. Next I'm going to give it a wash. The wash that I use is again Cote d'Arms. It's this one, 134 Ink Wash Green. So now that we've done the base coat and we've added the wash, next it's time to put the first highlight on. We're just going to be bringing up the major muscle groups to show some difference from the shaded areas. Okay, so now we've got a little bit of highlighting done. What we're going to do now is give him some armour, and the easiest way to do that, you can paint the armour black and highlight up with sort of gunmetal and then a silver, or alternatively you can use browns and build up that way. Some people like to paint silver and then wash with black and leave it like that. But these are Orcs. Orcs are kind of scruffy and dirty, so we don't want them to be too clean, do we? We want them to be kind of rusty and gnarly. And you can do this pretty roughly, you know, you can do this as roughly as you like. I'm pretty rough with my base coating because it's just about getting the colour on. All of the detail is done at the end, all of the tidying, so you don't have to be perfect with every aspect, just get that colour on there. That's how I like to work. And just to dispel any snobbery in this hobby, you know, right now the brown, the burnt umber I'm using is craft paint. Okay, so we don't need expensive paints. It's not necessary. When you're doing block colours, stuff like this, craft paint works well. What I'm going to do now is give it a dark wash. Now, the wash that I use is Army Painter, this one. I don't know if you can see that actually. Army Painter Dark Tone. I'll give it a good wash there. That'll get into all the recesses and pick out the detail. Leave it to dry, and then I'm going to come back and start to work up with a gunmetal. All the ink is dry. The next thing is take a dry brush, an old brush, probably not as bad as this one, but something kind of that you don't care about. And we're going to dry brush the highlights onto, I think this one might be better. Yep, you see that? We're going to dry brush the highlights onto the Orc metalwork. Okay, so now the dry brushing is done. What I'm going to do now is give it all another black wash. So again, using my Army Painted Dark Tone, I'm going to wash into the recesses to make sure that all those blended bits are pulled together. So now that all of the highlighting has dried, all of the silver highlighting, the green highlighting, all the washes, what I'm going to do is be picking out the major muscle groups with the coat d'arms, grass green again, and then wash, and then highlight with the yellow. So now let's give it one final green wash that's going to pull the dark emerald and the grass green together. Now all the boring stuff is done. It's time to move on to the detail. So, I'm going to take the orc, I'm going to be highlighting the high muscle areas, the bridge of his nose, his forehead, anywhere the light is clearly reflecting. You don't have to do every single high point, just where the light is really reflecting. See these bits on me? These are the parts that I'm going to be picking out on the orc. Okay, if I put my hand under here, emulating how I'm holding a weapon, look where the light falls. That's what I'm going to be doing. Now the orc is fully highlighted. You can take as long as you want over this process. Don't rush it to finish it. Don't rush it for Instagram. It's only finished when you think it's finished. Spend as long on it as you want, because it's going to spend a long time on your shelf, gaming table or cabinet. Who cares if it takes 2 or 3 days to complete? take your time, get it right. When you're happy, it's going to be as good as it can be. And moving into the final stages now. Eyes, eyeballs, around the eyes, teeth, gums, lips, etc. Now, in this tutorial, I won't do all of that. I will just do the basics and you'll see the finished article at the end. But I would advise that you just, again, take your time on this. Get it right. It doesn't have to be rushed. For teeth and fingernails, I'm going to be using this Humbrol acrylic, matte 110. That's going to be the base colour for the nail beds, teeth. Then I will highlight up using Necrotic Flesh from Army Painter, and then I'll put a dot of highlight on each of the teeth and fingernails. Okay, so that's the bulk of the figure done. Now, all we've got to do, realistically, we have to blackline him. Blacklining is basically taking either black or dark brown or an ink of a dark colour and going around all the edges where the arm meets the clothes, where the belt meets the pouches, where the hand meets the weapon, etc. Everywhere where one surface meets another, you need to blackline it. Not the face, arms, etc., because that just looks weird. Once you've blacklined it, you'll be surprised at how much things just stand out. Use your finest brush and give it a go. You may not get it right first time. Okay, so that's the blacklining done. Now, all that remains to be done is put the final detail on. I'm going to paint the lip in a kind of swamp brown, number 10 by Nostalgia 98. Those paints come from Warcolors.com. I'll paint the lip, then I'll highlight it up with a little bit of red and maybe some pink. The tongue, swamp brown, highlighted up with a little bit of red. Then shining silver or mithril silver or whatever highlight of silver you have for the weapon and for the chainmail. Then finishing touches are the mini buckle and the little brass pendants. They're all going to be brass coloured, okay, with a little gold highlight. If you want to add some verdigris to brass because it goes green, put some bluey green colour on it and that'll finish it off. That's what I'm going to do. I'm calling this figure finished. I hope you found this useful. I'm Oldman Paints, aka Phil. See you next time.